All right, welcome back to another episode. This time I'm not fishing, it's actually a boat reveal video, this one. So I bought myself a new boat. I do love the Attack still, but I found myself needing to get something a little bit more sea capable. I've got some trips that I want to do up further north and they're pretty exposed waters. I need something with a bit more sea capability to get there and back safely. And also just hitting the bay as well, you know, hits a 12, 15 knots, chasing tuna or stuff like that. It's a little, it's doable in the Attack, but it's not quite as comfortable as something with a deeper V. So I did a bit of research. I've been looking at these boats for a while and it's a pretty funny story actually. I just happened to message a mate about his boat, just seeing how he liked it. And life changes for him. So, you know, he had kids with school sport and after hours activity and just wasn't getting the time to use the boat. So funnily enough, I messaged him just asking him about the boat. And I said I was looking to buy and he said he was looking to sell. So just having to work out one of those things that just happened for a reason. And we found ourselves in the new boat. So I'm going to jump out of the water and show you the outside of the boat, and I'll jump inside and show you the inside features as well. All right, unfortunately I haven't got any sun today, but basically this is the boat here. It's a Bassco Hurricane. What the boat essentially is a 445 Haines hull extended out to 5 meters to the very tip here. So a very popular old school hull, and obviously a very different internal to what you'd be used to with a Haines. I wanted something that had lots of storage. You know, I've got the Attack with like heaps of hatches and stuff like that. I can put all my rods away, lock them up, that sort of thing. I wanted to maintain that, but I really just wanted to increase my ability to get out a bit wider. So this was probably the best boat that I could find. Like I said, I kind of got lucky. Unfortunately, the sun's not out to really show the how good this boat looks. It's really quite an attractive boat on the water. Sea deck on top. I've come from carpet to sea deck. Obviously, most people I speak to are big fans of sea deck. A lot easier to clean and stuff like that. You don't get blood stains as much and that sort of thing on it. So quite comfortable underfoot, I must admit, the sea deck. I've only been in a little bit so far, and so far it seems pretty good. Nice and comfortable underfoot. All right, I'll give you a quick more of a look around the front. We've got a boat catch on the front there. We've got the 80-pound iPilot, same sort of electric as I had before. I've got a nice spotlight there for when I go to the dam and sort of thing. All right, so we got another Mercury. I've gone from the 150 to the 115 Pro XS on this boat. It's running a Seastar hydraulic jacking plate as well, and also Seastar hydraulic steering. All right, so that jacking plate basically really lifts the whole motor up and it gives me an ability to drive into very shallow water. So I haven't lost any sort of shallow water capability going into this deeper V hull. You can get just about the prop virtually out of the water. Actually, the first time I drove, I did get the prop half out of the water as I was driving along. So that gives me good shallow water capability. And then it's also got this talon. Now, anyone that's not familiar with a talon, it's basically an anchor. So there's a shaft in here, telescopic, and you just press a button and it pulls that anchor, that shaft up, and now the boat can float. And if you want to anchor in position, down button, and then that pole comes back out and locks it in position again, and that'll adjust. So as you can see here, I've got some waves coming up and down, and this talon is working. You might be able to hear it. It's adjusting the pole as it's going up and down, so as you can hear there. So if I'm doing a trip, you know, I want to anchor up in a creek or something overnight, I'll be able to throw an anchor off the bank, and then I'll be able to put the talon down, and as that tide goes up and down, that's going to adjust for the tide. So it's very safe, very good option for anchoring up and stuff like that. Don't have to do that second anchor and that sort of thing. It's just to press a button basically and off it goes. All right, I'll jump in the boat and show you around the boat. All right, this talon's pretty cool too. It's got a little light you've got up here. You're not going to see it during the day there, but you've got some different LED light options. It's actually a really good angle. It spreads a good light all over the whole boat. It's going to be very handy fishing at night basically, that light. All right, we'll start up the front. Now everyone knows I like my electronics and my sounders, and well, this is a whole new level basically. We've gone to a Solix 15, so that's a Humminbird Solix 15. Now at the moment I've just gone to my usual setup where I'm running a side scan transducer off the electric. So when I deploy that, there's a side scan transducer that's running underneath the front of the boat. and that's plugged into here. Now it's also got a 360. Now I'm a little bit uncertain with the 360. I'm just going to have to play with it and see how we go. But basically it's like the same sort of side scan transducer, but it just spins around in a circle and gives you a 360-degree picture basically across the screen. We'll see how we go with that. I may end up not running this, but I'll see how I go with the 360. But at this point in time, there's a 360 there that I can hook up to there, and also the side scan that I can hook up off the electric. Little hatch up the front here, just a little tiny one, just to put an anchor in or something like that. The big deal is these bigger hatches in the front here. Now this is really cool. We've got 12 rod locker and a heap of room up the side to stick your 4,000 size trays or whatever you need in down there. So as you do know, I do take a lot of gear with me, a number of combos, and 12 is probably just enough for me. I had 9 in the attack, and sometimes I take 10 or 11, but 12's a really good sort of number. It's plenty of rod storage there basically, and very deep hatches as well, so there's plenty of storage here. All right, so really happy with that big hatch in there. Now I've got 2 gas struts to hold it all up as well, and a lockable hatch as well, so if I'm at the servo or something like that, I can lock up this hatch and no one can steal all those combos. I've got 2 side hatches, they're quite deep. Lots of room in there. This hatch here is really cool. I can actually fit like my swag in there, which is a big bonus, so really deep. I've just got some stuff thrown in there for the time being. I'll probably keep that spare when I go on a trip for a night away. And yeah, I'll run the swag in there, which is really hard to find a boat to fit a swag underneath the deck. So that's really handy. Heaps of room there. Again, they're just lockable as well, so you can lock all that stuff up. We've got a step down here. I'm just putting my little esky in the middle there for the time being. I'll probably find a bit better quality esky, a new one. It'll put some sea deck on it, so it might blend in with the this area here. Now it's a twin console. We've got a console on either side, so passenger and driver side. It's got a glove box. You can just put some stuff in there. Mikado remotes in there. It's got some side rod storage, so in the side here we've got quite long tubes that go up, so you can fit the longer rods inside there. Got your 2 seats. All right, so I've got another Solix 15 basically running off the front here as well. This is on one of these Kong mounts, quite a nice mount, quite strong, quite thick aluminium. It's braced there, so that's quite strong. Now I'll probably just stick with these SmartCraft gauges because it's giving me good readings on my fuel flow, how much fuel I've got, you know, engine temperature, all the sort of stuff I need to know is still on these SmartCraft gauges, so I'll probably stick with the SmartCrafts. In the step here we've got 2 batteries. I've got they're crank AGM, so I've got 2 of them, one's to start the motor, the other's like a secondary house battery, so I've got 2 house batteries and a battery for electric, so plenty of power. I may go back to 1, but I'm just going to see how we go with the 2 batteries in there for the time being. Now the back deck is pretty big. It's not as big as the Attack, but it's certainly very functional. Plenty of room for me to fish up on here. Very good rear deck. Pretty hard to find a rear deck this sort of size on a deeper V boat. All right, so the rear deck is an interesting way it opens up. It's a concertina type setup, and it just folds over the rear. Particularly running a couple of Invicta lithium batteries. So I've got a 24 volt 100 amp hour to run the iPilot at the front, and then there's a 100 amp hour 12 volt to run the Solixes, which do use a lot of power. So lithium, pretty much everything in this boat, which is really good. So the beauty of the Invicta batteries, you've got a Bluetooth which you can connect an app on your phone, and you can keep an eye on your power that you've got in the battery. So I'm not sure if it's going to come through, but basically this is just the Invicta app. Shows me my 2 different batteries that I've got connected there. You can just tap onto them there, and it will tell you how much power you've got in there, capacity, volts, how much is left on it. So I've got 68% left on this particular battery. So really handy for big trips. Again, you can keep an eye on your power, turn things off before you have issues, before it runs out. Big fan of the Invicta batteries and the lithiums in general. All right, looks like the sun's gonna peek out in a second, so I'll quickly jump out of the boat again and show you the side, so you get a bit more of an idea what it looks like in the sun. All right, we've got a bit of sun there. Give you an idea of the little bit of an idea of how cool that paint job is. So metallic blue and black Really nice with the waves going up there. Looks really cool. Now, the one thing I haven't got set up yet is my live. So I had the live set up on the back of the attack. I think I'm going to go and put the live up the front here. So that's why I need to just work out what I'm going to do with this 360. So I'm going to kind of plan it for two different sort of fishing options. So shallow water and deep water. So for shallow water, I'm probably going to fish up the front of the boat. I'm going to have either this running with the side scan off electric or the 360, and then I'll have the Lowrance HDS Pro 10 with the active target 2 off the front. So what that basically does is it allows me to use the pole to actively target individual fish or school fish in shallow water with that live system, be able to see the lure and track the lure back in. But also I want to be able to see what's coming from the left and right. So either the 360 that's sort of spinning around the boat, giving me an idea if I'm focusing on some fish on the right, that a school might come through on the left. So either the 360 or just the electric side scan. So that'll be pointing straight ahead, so I can keep an eye on it, just keep glancing over, and if some fish come through the left and I'm focusing on the right or vice versa, I can go, oh, hang on, I'll stop targeting this 1 or 2 fish and I'll start targeting these few more fish here over here or something like that. So that's my shallow water option. And then, as I do with my other boat always, I'll fish off the back deck, and that'll be my deeper water option. And for that, I've got obviously the side scan set up off the front and the side scan set up off the back. So I'll be able to have 2 lots of side scans. So a lot of people asking me about the 2 side scans. Why do I have one off the front? Why not just have the one off the back? Well, basically it allows me to not drive over or past the fish. So that's right on the front. As I drive level with the fish, I'm seeing it straight away on the side scan. Whereas if I was to just rely on the back side scan, I'm basically driving the whole boat past the fish or level with it to then see it. So that could spook the fish or just doesn't give me as much time to see everything. I can also turn the electric. I can turn it left and right, and I'll be able to scan left or right to a degree. So basically like a 360, but it's a 360 is a constant spinning, whereas the electric, obviously I choose the turning basically. It can be a bit tricky with wind, it's constantly, on spot lock, it's going to be constantly moving, but generally speaking, it's a pretty good system, and it's helped me catch a lot of fish, that 2-sounder setup, running the 2 side scans, one off the front, one off the back. Not many people do it, but I highly recommend if you do have two units that come with a transducer, the side scan transducer, may as well make the use of both of them and put one electric and one off the back. I'll give you a quick look on how we set that up. So my mate Damien Hinks from Pro Torque Marine Electrical put me onto this technique of putting the side scan on the electric. Now BLA do a specific mount that you can buy to put that on there with 2 big sort of oversized zip ties to hold that on, and then we basically get like an air hose or a garden type Corley hose, cut that a slit all the way around, and then feed the cable onto that, and that way when I deploy the electric, it doesn't get all tangled up, and if it's spinning around, it's not going to get all tangled up. So that coil keeps that transducer cable nice and protected, and keeps it tucked in nice and tight to electric, so it's not going to get caught on the prop or anything like that and break that expensive transducer cable. All right, so a few people are asking, obviously, is the attack, am I keeping it? No, I will be putting it up for sale pretty soon. I've just got to tidy a few things up and change a couple of things around. Today was just a bit of a go out. Unfortunately, I realised my flares were out of date, so I couldn't go out and chase any cheer in the bay. I've given this hull a good go today though. I've got some 12, 13 knot conditions out there in the middle of the bay. I'll show you some footage in a second, and look, to say this thing eats it up would be an understatement. These legendary Haines hulls are popular for a reason. They do handle a chop very, very well. Very, very soft ride. With that 4-blade stainless trophy prop, it does lift the whole hull out of the water quite substantially, and that deep V is really good for a nice soft ride. So very impressed with the boat. I wasn't overly super excited when I got it. Most people are like, why wouldn't you be excited when you got it? But I was very happy with my tack, so it was very, very difficult for me to change the boat that I'm very, very happy with. Like I said, I'm only really going to this other boat to increase my ability to go places I couldn't go with the attack. I'm actually pretty excited now, because after using this boat, it probably handles better than I expected. It turns really well. The stability at rest is excellent. I thought it was going to be a bit wobbly and all over the shop. Some of the guys that run 16 Haines put trim tabs on their boat. They say you have to have them, but this stretched 445 hull is a bit wider in the middle and it tapers out towards the back, and it is a very, very stable hull without trim tabs. Drives exceptionally well. Turning is crazy good. There's not much I can say bad about this boat, other than it's probably a little bit smaller than my tack. My tack was 5.7 meters, and this one's just on 5 or just under 5 meters. But for 1 up or 2 up maximum, which is most of my fishing anyway, it's perfect. The smaller motor, economy is excellent. I'm getting around the same fuel usage as before. I can travel well over 2 kilometers per litre, get up towards 3. And you know, with a 140 litre fuel tank, I've got a massive range. It's twice the size of fuel tank as what the Attack had. So again, these bigger trips will have heaps of fuel, heaps of storage. The motor's got plenty of power for the boat. It's pretty fast. It can get up towards 80 kilometers an hour. 1 up, but with a talon on and a few bits and pieces in there, it brings it down a bit. But really happy with the ride, and I got to say I am pretty excited about this boat and the potential of what it's going to open up for me in fishing, basically trips up north and also locally, going on days where I don't have to wait for that sort of really nice weather to get out. So now this is another Australian made fiberglass boat. I did look at importing perhaps a bay boat or something over from the States, but the conversion rate of getting it over here, by the time you sort of got it all done and dusted, probably would have been a fair bit more to get this on the water than what I've got here. So, and it's also good to support another Australian company with the boat. So the Attack was made on the Gold Coast. This one's made in Victoria. It's good to be using Australian built fiberglass boats as well. If you've got any questions about the boat, just pop them in the comments there. All right, that's pretty much everything to go through on the boat. So I'll see you next week, hopefully bending a rod and putting some nice fish into this new boat of mine. All right, catch you then.